It's important for us to remember that we have a universal neighborhood. What I mean by that is all 8.2, 8.3, whatever it is, billion people on the planet right now, they are all our neighbors. They are not all our brothers. The Bible teaches, when it comes to humanity, a universal neighborhood that stems from the universal creatorhood of God. God is universal creator. There's not one person that God is not their creator, and there's not one person that is not our neighbor. But the Bible, while teaching universal creatorhood of God and neighborhood of humanity, the Bible teaches particular fatherhood and particular brotherhood. God is creator of all, but father of some. And everyone is my neighbor, but not everyone is my brother. And John is actually just echoing the words of Jesus Christ himself, who taught that whatever you do for the least of these, and here's the key phrase, my brothers, you have done for me. We have so taken the words of Christ in that particular place out of context. We say, whatever you do for the least of these, you've done for Jesus. So how do you love Jesus, who is at the right hand of God the Father? How do I love Christ? Well, I can't go to heaven, not now. But the way that I can feed Christ is I can feed the least of these. I can clothe Christ by clothing the least of these. I can visit Christ when he's oppressed and imprisoned by visiting these. That's what Jesus says. That if you even give a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in my name, you've done it for me. How do you love Jesus? Well, you love the least of these. But again, the key phrase is the least of these, my brothers. We've taken that out of context because what we've done with evangelical Protestant churches today is we've just said the least of these, and we've removed that phrase, my brothers. And then we think that it's our own decision, that we have our own creative license and authority to determine who are the least of these in society today. And so we'll say, well, the least of these are LGBT community. And I would say, well, no, it's the least of these, my brothers. These people are living in impenitent sin. Therefore, there is no sign that they are brothers. Secondly, even by the standard of neighbors, these are not the least of these. These would be equivalent to princes and kings. There's no higher status you could have in our God-hating society today than being LGBT. They're not oppressed. 3% of the population is oppressing 97%. These are not the least of these by any metric of being the least of these, much less a biblical metric. So let's go ahead and remove that one. Well, maybe the least of these isn't, LGBT, LMNOP, whatever, but maybe the least of these are immigrants. We've heard that one. Maybe it's immigrants. I mean, they have no rights. What do you mean? They do have rights. Our taxes go to them, whether they do anything or not. They're given checks. They're paid. In some places, they can vote depending on that city and that county. No. They're not the least of these. And that, again, is by a universal neighborhood standard. But again, that's not the biblical standard. Whatever you do for the least of these, my brothers. When Jesus says, whatever you do for the least of these, my brothers, the person who's imprisoned, you know who he's talking about? The person who's imprisoned as a Christian for preaching the gospel. The person who's wrongfully imprisoned. When you clothe those who are naked, my brothers, he's talking about Christians who have been plundered and robbed and persecuted for their faith in Christ. Those who are hungry, who are Christians.